in your mind. I am in your... Hey y'all, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ecstasy artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about when art becomes a weapon and why some artists are psychopaths.
But before we get into it, make sure to smash, flick, jingle all our bells and buttons because it really helps us out. Please and thank you.
Oh my God, look at you. I am so happy to see you again. Where have we been for the past few days?
We've been at Dallas, Texas.
We've been the great state of Texas. What did we do there?
Eat a lot of barbecue.
We ate a ton of barbecue. That's what we did. It was a lot. And if we're looking a little puffy, you know why. We ate and we drank a lot. You guys don't walk around with the food.
And the drink. Oh my God, I missed it. Well, the reason why...
I'm going through barbecue withdrawal right now.
You are.
Seriously.
I'm making us eat... Well, I didn't make you, but I'm making myself eat only salads for a while.
I don't know, man. After having like 2 plates of barbecue a day over there, I think I'm okay, man.
Yeah, I'm a little barbecued out.
Yeah, man.
So the reason why we are talking about this topic today is because I noticed a lot of activist art on Instagram the past year or so. I feel like the artists aren't necessarily activists themselves, but they're just creating a lot of art around subjects like BLM, that kind of thing.
Well, what are you saying? Is that a bad thing?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm mostly bothered by the fact they don't know what they're doing. Because I don't think artists are actually all that knowledgeable about politics and activism, all that stuff. I feel like a lot of people draw things that they know is popular, that is in the zeitgeist. Like, kind of like in high school, when you're drawing something, you're just drawing whatever comes to mind. It's almost like stream of consciousness. It's literally, you don't really understand what you're drawing if you're drawing political activist things. And
most people just think it's cool, or it's a cool idea, or it's something everybody accepts, so that why not?
Yeah,
you know?
And I think artists in particular are really empathetic people. We want, for the most part, to do good and to create nice, appealing art. And if you have a following, let's say on Instagram, you wanna make art to help a cause that you believe in is good. So, for example, with the BLM stuff, I don't have actually that much of a problem with what it is on the surface level. Because what they think they're doing is they're making art for good causes, like, equality. Wouldn't it be nice if things were more equal? Wouldn't it be nice if racism didn't exist? Or like, notice this thing that is going on in the world that's really upsetting to me, and I wanted to, I don't know, make something...
Express myself.
Yeah, basically. And all that is good and fine. If that was what it is, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But they don't realize what they're drawing half the time is supporting communism.
What?
Yeah.
You have any proof?
Well,
you can't just say stuff like that.
Yeah, like that. As a high schooler who didn't know anything about politics and that kind of thing, I think BLM existed even back then when we were going to high school, right?
I don't know.
Like 2008?
It's more of like a college thing.
Well,
from what I remember.
I definitely believe that if you were to give me everything that you get in like mainstream media and Hollywood and TV, all the stuff that's happening now, to when I was in high school, I would be all for it. I'd be like, oh yeah, especially like with Obama running for president. I'd be like, oh, yeah, what's the big deal? It's like equality. Cool. Like if you told me it was about communism, I would think you're lying to me. But
yeah, I bet a lot of people think that right now.
Yeah, but the leaders of BLM, the organization, are trained Marxists. Like this is coming from their own mouths. They're saying that they're trained Marxists. And if you don't know what that means, it means they're trained in communism. And when they used, the fist, when they make everyone put up the fists, that's the communist fist. A lot of people think it's the Black Panther fist. No, it's the communist fist. Where do you think the Black Panthers got it from? The communists in China, that's the fist they hold up when they're pledging to the party, when they're being inducted into the party.
What? So instead of like putting your hand over your heart,
yeah,
you just put your fist up?
Yeah, that's like their thing. And it's very similar to the Roman salute. And if you don't know what that is, it's the Nazi salute. But what I didn't realize until fairly recently, because we watched Spartacus, because they did the salute, and I was like, wait. And then I realized Spartacus is in Rome, is in that area, and at that time, that's the salute that they give each other when they're like saying hi, basically.
They were trying to be historically accurate. Right?
Yes,
right.
Yes. They weren't, like, Nazis didn't exist
right.
in this time. So I was confused.
But they weren't going to shake hands.
Yeah, like, that's weird. that's like modern. That's
right.
actually very modern.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. Like, people don't realize that the Nazi salute is actually the Roman salute, nor does it matter at this point.
So these symbols or gestures are just co-opted throughout time, and then they kind of mean different things.
Yeah, but there hasn't actually been that much time in comparison between when China still uses the communist fist for stuff. Like, it's the symbol of communism. That's why when there's communist propaganda, there's the fist. Except before, it used to mean like work and labor and that kind of thing. Like, you see those Russian propaganda posters?
Oh, so now it's rebranded as like a uprising.
Like a revolutionary BLM specific thing. But besides the point, because I don't want to argue about whether communism is good or bad. I don't really care about this argument. But it's more to do with the fact that these artists, they're thinking that they're making art for one thing, but they're actually making art for this other thing that they don't even really understand because they didn't even think about it. They're making art for this thing that, what if they did understand what it was, they didn't agree with it? If they had no, to me, artists are being used. Artists are being used and manipulated into supporting a cause that they might actually really, really resent or not like, or like, no, I don't want my art to be used for this thing secretively, basically. If I knew I was supporting that, I would have never supported it, kind of thing.
But don't you feel like these artists, they're just trying to express themselves in these times where it feels like, everybody, the media, everybody's telling you that we have these problems and we have to deal with them, and they're just trying to, get some sort of attention. You don't think that's valid?
No, because when the two sayings are so synonymous, I think you're not communicating properly as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, if you think you're telling the world that when I am making art for BLM, I'm making it for these causes, for equality, for all these things that you think is so good and just, there's a whole nother half of the population who you're not speaking to, because your BLM art means something completely different to them when they know that it's also about communism. And so what you think you're saying to literally another group of an entire half of other people, you're not actually saying what you think you're saying.
You're having the same conversation.
Yeah, you're literally not having the same conversation. You're not even using the same words, because you come with all these preconceived notions. And to me, I think doing these well-meaning things is great and all, but if you actually knew what BLM stands for and supports, for example, very recently, Cuba is cracking down on their protesters right now. Cuba being a communist dictatorship.
There's a lot going on in Cuba. Can you explain it for our audience who probably just doesn't know anything?
What is happening because they're artists? Well, Cuba is run by a communist dictatorship, if you didn't already know. Very similar to like North Korea, China, that kind of thing. And they are having protests right now, and the government is cracking down on it by shutting off the internet. The other time this happened is basically every anniversary of the Tiananmen Square thing. If you don't know what that is, let's say you're a Chinese person and they've brainwashed you and deleted history, basically. And Tiananmen Square, I guess you can call it a massacre. It was when a bunch of students were protesting the Chinese Communist Party. They basically steamrolled them with tanks, mowed them down, and it's a history that China doesn't want their people to know. So there are literally people who live in China who don't even know this happened, and they basically censor all of the internet to prevent their people from knowing that this happened, because if they knew that once upon a time these people rose up and protested and look what our government did to them, they would not be happy. Mad. Yeah. So much so to the point where now people who are still trying to make sure that memory and that history is kept alive, they post like the candle to represent that day on the anniversary of that day, and China has found out that's what they do, and now they even censor people who post emojis of candles on that day. So it's not good when people are protesting and the government decides you don't get internet because of that, because who knows what the government is doing to those people right now. Reports are that people allegedly are getting shot in the streets, rounded up, a lot of bad things.
There's video all over Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
All over Twitter.
It's upsetting. I think, like, immediately what I thought of was, this is completely random, but it's because I watched a documentary recently, and it had some stuff to do with the Cambodian genocide. And what I didn't realize is, like, our involvement as Americans during that time. If you don't know what the Cambodian genocide was,
when this happened,
in the 1970s, Cambodia was fighting basically a struggle for power between communism and what I assume is just normal democracy. The US was kind of involved, similar to Vietnam, except in this case, the US pulled out and communism won. And immediately when that happened, the Cambodian genocide started happening, very similar to what's happening in China right now. They would delete millions and millions of people from the highly educated and the elite, I guess, were like richer people, and also their political adversaries and the people who fought against them, I guess. And during that time, basically from the 1970s to 1990s, early 90s, a lot of Cambodians came here. They were Cambodian refugees because I feel like America had a lot of American guilt for pulling out and knowing that they left a lot of these people basically to die. So a lot, the presidents at the time, Ford, Carter, and a little bit of Reagan, were actually very pro-immigration. They were like, we need to help these people. Like, there are a lot of, like, the first lady would go to Cambodia and she would see the horror, and she's like, we need to help these people. So that's why a lot of Cambodians immigrated here during that time. That America being very like, genocide is happening right now. We let communism take over. Really bad things are happening to these people. We should help in any way that we can. And then BLM goes and supports the Cuban dictatorship.
And what do they say, basically?
Basically, because they're saying like the U.S. needs to like help support the Cuban communist dictatorship. Basically, we need to give them supplies. We shouldn't cut them off. Whatever. BLM, the organization, you say you support Black lives. What about the Black lives that are dying right now in Cuba? Clearly, you don't care about those lives, and you care about human rights atrocities. Okay, as you're all for all the communist regimes that are like, you know, murdering people right now. And I'm just like, and knowing all of this, as someone who knows all of this, and knowing that there are a lot of people like me who know all of this, looking at the artists who are just maybe misinformed or ignorant of these facts, making activist art without knowing what they're doing. If you know full well what you're doing, at least you know what you're doing. Like, I feel like propaganda back in the day, the people knew what they were doing. At least communists back in the day, I'm not communist, at least artists back in the day, I felt like if they were making propaganda, they would know. And like they're like, all for this cause. Yeah, I'm the artist doing this cool poster. I'm whatever. But I feel like a little bit like this is kind of gross that that these people have convinced a group of very talented, smart, but in a different kind of way, people, artists who are very, like, they have these talents that most people don't have convinced them to do these things, create propaganda for free because they think they're doing a good thing. At the end of the day, I think they're well-meaning. I think they're fighting for equality and all these things that they think are good. I think they're really horrified by all the injustices that they see in their little bubble around them, in their day-to-day lives. They don't really, for one, I think if they've lived long enough, because we actually have quite a few older peers or teachers or whatever who are like really into this stuff, and you'd think they'd know better. You think they'd like lived through enough and been politically active, but it seems like a lot of people were only politically active recently. Like, I feel like most artists weren't back in the day. I don't think our art teachers in art school were all that politically active when they were working. Like, young artists like us, like 20-somethings, 30-somethings.
I feel like they were just trying to hustle it.
Yeah, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
I don't think politics was as, like, if you were a political activist artist, you made that kind of work, it was like just a very small niche in the whole scheme of art. I think a lot of artists, like, especially if you were in entertainment, who made like art for movies, movie posters, that kind of thing, I don't think they were all that political. I don't think they made political art in their free time. I think they made art that they wanted to make in their free time. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's why the art was good.
Maybe. But I think it's wild that, like, because they think this is like a moral thing, they think that like, you don't have to pay them to do this. What boggles my mind is people make political activism art in their free time. Like, I go on Instagram and I want to like post my like indulgent girl art. But then I see other people on Instagram and they're not being hired for this. They're not like, they're doing it of their own free will, their own volition, their own free time, and I think that's crazy. I also think it's really weird that they're doing art for the man, basically.
What do you mean, the man?
Like the government.
Oh.
Like politicians. Like, how is it that people are making fan art of politicians?
I don't like it.
It's very strange to me. I don't think people realize that's what they're doing. I think they just...
These people aren't even the greatest people. I don't know why people are drawing them.
They haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything.
At least actors are on the big screen, you know?
Characters and comic book characters. Politicians.
Yeah, are strange.
Making Ruth Bader Ginsburg masks.
Yeah.
What?
Biden art, Ruth Bader Ginsburg art, AOC art,
oh
Bernie
my
art.
God. Kamala Harris posters.
It's just weird. It's really weird to me. And I think I'm trying to rationalize why they do this. And other than the fact that they think they're doing art for a good cause, I do...
Making some money on the side, too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Getting social points or whatever. Like, it feels nice to be liked.
Yeah.
I also think they haven't ever realized what it feels like to get used for your talents like that.
Do you know what that's like?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, when... in one of the shows I was working on, it's a preschool show, which makes it particularly egregious to me. There was someone on the show who really wanted to get her political agenda into the show, let's just say. And she would convince the writers and her director and all these things to change the show according to her political activism. And as someone who, I just want to draw cartoons. I just want to make good stories. I just want to be proud of my work. Silly, right? I just want to just go to work, draw cartoons, and make good work.
Make cool shit.
And go home and live my life.
Right.
And I also knew, like, I don't have to have an ego about everything that I do. Like, not every show that I am on needs to be revolutionary. It's a preschool show. Like, how much am I going to change in a preschool show? It is whatever. Putting your own political activism, your own propaganda to mold the minds of young people? Preschoolers?
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Kind of wrong. I thought my job was to entertain kids. I thought I was just supposed to draw pretty cartoons and tell good stories. I don't want to be responsible for brainwashing your kids because you put them in front of an iPad with Netflix playing on autopilot for 10 hours a day. I think at this point we are, as entertainers and artists, are raising your kids in a way.
It's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad. And I don't think there's anything you can do about it other than take the iPad away, maybe for a few, only give it to them when you're a few hours a day. How about that? Even that's a lot. That's a lot of content. And I felt icky. I felt like this is not what I agree with. I don't, if you're ever put in that position, I don't know what, some people don't like drawing not safe for work stuff. Some people don't like drawing furries. Some people don't like drawing certain things or doing certain things, and being forced to do that for someone else's message, which you really, really either don't believe in or you don't think it's right morally to do this. It feels icky. But then also being in the position of it's my job. This person had no authority to do that. You know, it's not like it was her show. It's not like, and I just think like that it's gross. It feels gross. And I feel like there are some people who are all for it, and like she was all for it, but like I think a lot of people, especially in animation, in animation in Hollywood, where a lot of this like propaganda is happening, and incorporating these things that really should not be, like, let children have their cartoons, let them
adventures. Yeah. Just silly, ridiculous things.
Like, why must we teach them about politics so early on, and why we should all not get along because we are all different? It's just gross to me. Just let them have their cartoons. And I think a lot of people like us, we went to school, we got in debt, and we got in debt thinking we're just gonna draw cartoons. We're just gonna do this job that has nothing at all to do with politics, that have nothing to do with all this stuff. I just want, like, you do that, and then you get hired, and you have no choice. It's not like I had a choice to be like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm in debt, and I think a lot of people are just doing it for the job.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even people who go to school for writing, or even musicians, sometimes they just get pigeonholed into doing something that actually benefits, a party or a politician.
Yeah.
And that really sucks, because when I was growing up, I thought art came out from people's minds, like that they were artists, that they had their own interpretation of life, and not the one that we're supposed to be, all for,
Yeah.
Rah, that type of thing. Aren't you getting a little tired of it? Just a little bit?
Yeah. I think everyone is.
Yeah.
I think people want to escape from real life. I think that's what good entertainment does.
Do you think that's a shameful thing to want?
No. I think we can't always be like upset and just the weight of the world on you 24/7. Like, it's why we have entertainment. It's why we have things to distract us.
To lighten the load.
Yeah, and it helps. Fantasy and things that aren't real helps put into perspective the things that are. And I think you can talk about things and issues and all this stuff without beating people over the head with it and stuff. And it's exhausting to just be reminded over and over again of how difficult real life is, when, like, wouldn't it be nicer to feel, I don't know, like you are being related to, people understand what you're going through as a teenager, what you're going through as an adult, not specifically about how much or little money you have and how your skin color. There are, like, universal things that I think no matter who you are on this planet, people will relate, like things emotional, like falling in love. Not like, can't we have good love stories now without having to bring in politics and activism into it? It seems like literally everything has been infected by it, and it's exhausting. I think most people are exhausted. I'm exhausted, at least.
Me too.
But I think there is a whole nother group of people who I'm not even talking about yet. They are the type of people who I would call the art psychopaths. These are people who I don't think they're well-meaning at all. I think I forgive a lot of the people who are making this activist art, because I know what they're trying to say. I know a lot of other people might disagree with that kind of stuff, but because they think it's saying something else, or they're dumb or whatever. I understand that you think you're doing good in the world. That's applaudable. This other type of person, I think, just wants to watch the world burn.
No. What type of person are you talking about?
So this is the kind of person who like, okay, let me restart. Basically, people like CreateShowArt and Gabby Hanna. If you are not aware, recently,
I had no idea who these two were. I have a normal life. I don't pay attention to this bullshit. But who are these two?
well, I'm on YouTube a lot, so I get recommended everything that's going on the internet. So CreateShowArt is basically an artist who created an art channel, turned it into an art storytime channel, turned it into basically a gossip channel. And she got into a lot of hot water recently because she would post on the lol cow forums, which is basically...
What the fuck is that?
It's basically
is
a gossip
that a
forum.
farm? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a gossip forum.
What's a gossip forum? Is that just a forum where people gossip?
It's like 4chan. But,
okay.
but specifically for gossiping.
Oh,
yes.
About artists?
I think so. I think lolcow is specifically artists.
Why would anybody want to gossip
I
about
don't
us?
know.
I don't understand.
No, no one cares.
No
about
one
us.
gives a shit.
About
We
artists.
just draw and shit. Like, who gives a shit?
So
What the fuck?
yeah. So she was outed, or I guess doxxed? I don't know what the right word. She was outed for basically, I think similar to 4chan, I think you're all anonymous or something like that. And she was outed for anonymously posting under many different accounts, spreading rumors and attacking herself, her friends, other artists.
What do you mean attacking herself?
She would pretend to be other people attacking
then attack
her.
herself?
Yeah. And
What
then,
the
but then she would pretend to be other people promoting herself. I'm like, oh, look at this channel I just found. I'm like, oh, it's so great, whatever. So,
What?
yeah, she played both sides apparently. And it just,
It's kind of creative.
yeah.
You
But
know.
she particularly, allegedly, she stalked another YouTube artist or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Real.
Internet harassed
Jesus
and yeah, did a lot of stuff.
God.
And I was just like, wow. There are a lot of art psychopaths.
Weirdos, man.
Like, you're so talented. Why use your talents
On
for
this bullshit.
this? Yeah. And
You could tell they have some kind of creative energy,
yeah.
and then they use it on this.
That's
Why?
and like she was a pretty big channel, I think. I don't know her numbers. I didn't really know about her all that much, actually. I think I was served one of her videos a long time ago, and I remember clicking on it and then just not liking that kind of content. I in general don't really like the drama content because I feel like it creates a community of people who, instead of are thoughtful, instead of are part of a loving community, it's a community to attack other people or laugh at other, it just bugs me.
A harassment community.
Yeah. Who, like, people who really love schadenfreude and like relishing in other people's pain.
You're cultivating those
Types of people.
You're gathering them.
Yeah. All in one place, and that's like,
And they're getting high off of your content, taking a fat off other people.
Yeah.
I see.
And I don't like that.
That's not cool.
Yeah. So I remember watching her video and feeling very like, I know I'm also not someone who relishes in other people's pain. I go like, oh, sex, I mean, you kind of got what you deserve, but like, kind of sucks. Like, that even happened. Yeah. We also have Gabby Hanna, which you might be confused because we're talking about artists, but I consider her an artist. I consider her an actress and a musician, and someone who's very
Oh, you've
talented.
been watching so many videos of this lady.
Yeah, partly because once you watch one, YouTube just serves you all of them. Um, but if you're not familiar with YouTube, at least that side of YouTube, she got popular off of Vine and then went onto YouTube and then became a YouTuber. She kind of started off with story time things, mostly about like crazy things that happened to her in her life, and she would be on camera like a talking head video,
but then telling a story about your recollection of some event.
Yeah. Instead of the art drama storytime channels would draw while they're telling the story of whatever. She would act it out and be really, really, really entertaining, and she gained a huge following from that. But then she became known for a lot of drama and controversy between her friends, and a lot of other people. And she has been, it just seems like she stirs up stuff every now and then. There are a lot of similarities between Gabby Hanna and CreateShowArt, actually. Like, they both basically harassed their friends, allegedly, and they played both sides. They both don't really care if they look good or not.
I noticed when you were watching a lot of these videos that a lot of these people who are friends of this creep show person, they aren't that healthy mentally. And they all say they suffer from this or from that, and they have to take medication or something. And it's almost like, to me, this girl deliberately knows who's the weaker sort in the art community and then preys on them. And I think that's especially gross.
Yeah.
That's
because
okay.
I thought about a lot, like, because I watched some lengthy videos on the CreateShowArt thing, and I kept thinking, like, I don't want to victim blame, like, at all. But I was thinking, like, you know, if I were in that situation, I probably would have, like, not responded in that way whatsoever. Like, I felt like these people, they're like, in a way, like this creep show person and then this Gabby Hanna person, it seems like they really knew the kinds of people that were susceptible to them. Because, like, if they went up to someone like me and tried to threaten me or what, I'd just be like, leave me alone, go away, I'm gonna, like, call the cops, like, I don't, like, leave me alone. I wouldn't give in whatsoever. So I think that's sad. I really think that's sad. It's like, don't go to people who are already kind of, like, vulnerable, whether they have, like, anxiety or whatever, or like they like pleasing other people, or they just don't want to fuss. It's like, that's why I feel like they get away with harassing people for so long, that they know the ones who won't stand up for themselves. They know the ones who just take it and be like, no, it's fine. Like, I'll deal with it. Yeah. I don't want to cause problems for other people. And I think it's really gross. And what really annoyed me is, like, because you watch one video, you get served, like, all of them by multiple different people.
So many people made content about this drama.
Yeah. And at a certain point, I just didn't want to see it anymore. Like, I wanted to, like, click, like, not interested on the YouTube thing, because especially with the creep show stuff, I kept getting served other art drama channels. And I was a little bit... How
many are there?
There are a lot.
Why?
I don't know.
What's so fascinating about our fucking lives? We just draw. I don't know what the big fucking deal is. We don't do anything hardcore. We don't fucking drink and fucking smash hotel rooms. We're just fucking art. We just draw. I don't understand what warrants so many drama channels.
Well, out of all of them, they start with the art community realizes no one cares and you don't get that many views for that kind of thing, and then they move on to, like, YouTube celebrities or influencers.
So they escalate.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No, yeah,
Who gives a
artists.
Yeah.
It's silly. Our drama, really, you really think people care about our drama? we don't, like, Gabby's drama is, like, crazy. So I remember seeing these other art drama channels, like on CreateShowArt, and I was like, you're the same though. Like, I know you're not exactly the same. You're not quite like, I don't know if you're actually as psycho as she was, but you're getting there. you're closer to that than I am, because I don't sit around talking about other artists' drama all day. Like, I don't care. And I was like, you're not any better. Like, during that time, I saw a lot of people trying to justify not being like that, but also being an art drama channel. And I was like, you are the same. That's fine, but you are the same. You are taking advantage of other people's pain for your gain. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's power. After really, like, getting inside these people's minds, I think they like the power because they don't even like being liked. It's not that, because otherwise, why would they make themselves
the
look
power
better?
to do what? To step on people, to feel better than people.
Yeah. I think inside they're actually very, very insecure people, because no secure person wants to be glorified and idolized the way that they do. And no secure person needs to feel superior to someone else to feel like they're worth anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't go around going like, oh, I'm better than this person, I'm better than that like, I don't care. I don't care if you draw better than me. I don't care if you have more subscribers. Like, I don't think about other people like that. I'm just trying to live my life and do my thing. And if you're better than me, whatever. If that I'm better than that person's gonna work hard and get good too. Like, I don't
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm in whatever scale of superior or inferior than other people. People who are obsessed with that, I think they're like, they really want to step on other people. Because it doesn't feel good to feel inferior to someone, so you want to feel superior to someone, and you want to make them feel scared of you. That's something that I noticed was common.
Are you scared of anybody in the art community?
No.
Why would we be? What do you think? How tough do you think the art community is?
Yeah, seriously. Like, I've also noticed, because I've been on this true crime kick on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of true crime stuff. I noticed, sadly, the weebs, the people who have some artistic ability tend to be the ones who commit crimes in these true crime things. And I've watched a lot of them, and every single time when they go like, they grew up and they really love drawing and they love anime, and I just face palm, and I go like, why an artist? Why another artist to make us look bad? But I really think that when they've, across the board, these people who commit the crimes, the CreateShowArt, the Gabby person, they're really insecure and they want to be better than someone. They want other people to fear them and treat them like gods or something. And I think that's something that I can't relate to whatsoever. I think these are truly like either people who got like, I don't know, bullied too much or are just too entitled. I don't know what it is, but for them to do this to other people, it's really messed up. But then I remembered, like, a lot of these personality traits reminded me of other people in our lives, like people we knew. Because I started thinking, man, there sure are a lot of psychopaths.
So many people from art school who are out of their minds.
Yeah.
So many people, even working right now in the industry, who are just psycho. They're psycho.
Yeah. And then I understood, because then I could put like someone I actually knew, people I actually knew in these roles, and I was like, wow, it fits so well. That they're like crazy. They're crazy. So I wanted to talk about some of these stories.
Of the real life psychopaths we know?
That we know, yeah.
Let's change the names at least.
Okay.
Okay.
Should you start or should I?
Okay. So I think a few episodes ago we talked about this group of people from our art school who created a lot of drama about each other. And one of the characters' names was Jocelyn, right? Mm-hmm. And Jocelyn, typical mean girl, kind of crazy, pretty f***ed up in the head, but, you know, pretending to keep it all together.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Cool. Was that a good assessment?
Yes.
Good. If I, you know, had to get a new job and this person was in the crew, I'd immediately be like, nope, not gonna be in that crew. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. I had a few classes with her, and I met her once. And I...
Once?
Well, we had classes together, but then I didn't like to associate myself with her because I sensed crazy.
Bad juju.
I don't know if you have these things about people where, like, when you meet someone, they don't have to have done anything to you, but there's something about them that already raises a lot of red flags in your mind, and you're just like, yeah, let's not be friends. We can exist together, like, in class and stuff, but, like, I want nothing to do with you. And I got that vibe when I met her. So whenever she's in my classes, I was just like, let's just not. But yeah, I don't like her, or because she is, you can smell
everything what you talked about for somebody who craves power, someone who only cares about status, and if you don't have that status, you're not worth anything, not worth a damn.
Yeah, I guess maybe subconsciously I already could smell that, like the elitism and that kind of thing, and I just don't get along very well with people who have those qualities of like, oh, nose in the air, I'm better than you, or I'm better, even if they're nice to me and I sense their attitude towards other people,
I don't want to associate myself.
So there's her, and then there is one of my good friends at the time, Johnson, let's call him. And we also previously talked about how this Jocelyn person spread rumors about Sandy. Yeah. So she also spread rumors that my friend Johnson was blacklisted from animation because of Sandy. My friend Johnson is a very competitive, but also someone who I think is a people pleaser. Like, I think he
very good artist. Yeah,
and I think he very much wanted to be a successful artist and worked really, really, really hard. And I really think that this Jocelyn person really, I don't know, kind of manipulated people, and like, I don't know why she decided to tell him that, because I don't think it was true. I don't think it's possible to blacklist someone in the industry. I think
not even legal, I think.
Yeah,
technically.
For one, it's not legal. And then two, I think, I mean, when I came out with my Why I Quit My Job at Disney video, a lot of people who were, in my opinion, jealous of and also confused why I would give up something like this, and especially in the way that I did, they were like, this looks bad, you're blacklisted, you're never gonna work, basically laughing at me or thinking I'm dumb for giving it up or whatever. You're never gonna work another day in your life. And I was like, well, I burned this bridge. You think I burned this bridge without knowing that? Like, that's a possibility. You think I'm that dumb? That's how lowly some of the internet people think of other people and how highly they think of themselves.
Exactly.
But I was like, yeah, but then also, like, you know, a lot of people think any industry is much smaller than it actually is. Like, I think the idea that, like, oh, Hollywood is small, this is a small town and you'll never work again. Or, you know, like, people say, oh, it's a small world, you don't want to, like, burn your bridges like that. It's just in poor form to break up any kind of relationship where it's like that, which is why, like, I think a lot of people are scared even to break off friendships, even when they're not good for you anymore. And I think, like, that's a shame that you would waste your time to be friends with someone who is not good for you, just because you're worried about, like, burning bridges, that kind of thing. Well, like, it's your life. It's your time. You don't have to waste it on people who are not good for you. I just think the world really isn't that small, actually. Like, there are people that I'm constantly meeting, especially back when, like, the world was open and we were doing a lot of conventions. We were constantly meeting people in animation that we had no idea who they were. Yeah. And then we make a new friend or whatever. But, like, the industry really isn't that small, especially when you're talking about, let's say, the art industry. Who says I can't work in another industry that's not animation? You know? And I was just like, man, people are very close-minded when you think that, like, oh, Blacklist exists, and, like, oh, the phrase, you'll never work in this town again.
They're the kind of people who give Hollywood too much power, who worship it too much, who think it's some big monolithic fucking thing. Yeah. It's a bunch of assholes is what it is.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised what it actually takes and how little it actually takes to make some of these things. But
you could probably do it yourself in your backyard if you wanted to.
We read that Linklater, his first movie was like, what, $23,000? Like, you can easily say it, working in LA.
The price of a car.
Yeah, you save up the price of a car and make your own movie.
Do it.
But so, for one, I don't believe that Blacklist exists, but I think it can really fuck with a person that someone you thought was your friend talked badly about you and then, like, made it somehow, manipulated it somehow that, like, you are blacklisted, no one likes you, no one will hire you, all that stuff. And I'm like, that's not a good mindset to operate in, especially when you're probably under a lot of debt, you're very, very competitive. The industry you're trying to get into is very, very competitive. It is very, very difficult for someone graduating out of art school to get their first job. And you know all these things. On top of that, you think your friend got you blacklisted. That's a really messed up thing to convince someone of. Like, and I was just like, oh, why, who in their right mind would spread this kind of rumor? Whether it's true or false, like, who in your right mind would do that?
There's a story I heard. You want to hear the story I heard?
What's the story you heard?
The story I heard was these rumors that we're talking about, we thought were 4 CTNs old by now. They're still going around.
Years old.
These are years old rumors. They're still going around even today at, I don't know, Sony, Netflix, whatever. And they're going around to all these people who are fairly new to the industry and these people who, you know, have no connection to these people, so they get free reign to tell them, oh yeah, this person's not a good person. And even people who are from our school who are very, very talented have been told to spread these rumors, and they still continue to spread these rumors to the point where I've heard in good faith that apparently one of these people who was spreading rumors, let's say her name is Cindy.
Okay.
Cindy spreading rumors, the same old rumors that, and they're in the same studio. Cindy and Sandy. Cindy and Sandy are in the same studio together. So I don't know. To me, that seems foolish to spread rumors. You know, that's what we call shitting where you eat. You know. But this was happening, and Sandy couldn't take this bullshit anymore. So Sandy told HR about what was happening. They had a meeting together, and apparently Sandy told HR to haul Cindy, and they had a meeting together. Cindy was trembling, absolutely trembling, like I don't know, like a middle schooler in detention facing some sort of expulsion, something crazy like. And I just couldn't believe it, because this person, Cindy, is, you know, always puffs themselves up as, I'm Cindy. Yeah. I'm the great Cindy.
The greatest.
The great Cindy
of all
time. You will worship the ground I walk on. I am the great Cindy. But then how easy it is for these people to crumble under pressure.
Cold, yeah.
Exactly. And then, like, that's what I think about these people. They're so huffy and puffy, but when push comes to shove, they just crumble.
Yeah.
Like a pile of bricks. Like, I don't, it's the same for everyone who's like this. And I've heard that CreateShowArt just has disappeared. Yeah.
It was like, I'm leaving. Bye-bye, rather than deal with...
The story's all the same.
Yeah.
Story's all the same. These people who spread rumors, these people who do bad shit, it comes back to bite them, and it turns out
they can't handle it.
They're like, trembling like a leaf.
Yeah. I have, I don't want to say more respect for them, but I would at least be like, makes sense that, you know, if you don't care to look bad in front of so many people, you spread rumors and all this stuff, that you'd think you'd be able to handle it when it comes back to you, because what do you care? Apparently you're willing to watch the world burn, but when it happens to you, suddenly it's not fun anymore. Suddenly it's like, I'm the victim. I'm all these things.
I just remembered why. Another reason why Sandy couldn't take it anymore. So she told HR. One of our friends who used to have a YouTube channel. I have no idea what happened to that thing. But let's say his name is Mark. So Mark calls Sandy, and he's like, "Holy shit, Sandy," and they haven't talked in forever, you know, but you know, Mark, as well as like everybody from our class, knows about this bullshit drama, you know.
Like, so some of it, we all see, we're like peripherally aware of this stuff, like, it's, again, because I knew to stay clear of the crazy. We stayed away from the crazy. I had nothing to do with any of this. I don't even think I should know any of this. I don't know why I know any of this, but yes, I feel like everyone in our class, our year of graduating, know bits and pieces of certain things about other people, spreading rumors about other people. For some reason, it was a thing. And I didn't know how much other people knew until recently. And I go like, wow.
That it was actually common knowledge.
Did everyone know?
Yeah.
Were we all just like, and we all knew a certain person was kind of like someone you stay away from because they're crazy, but we all just didn't tell each other. But yes.
But Mark calls Sandy and is like, holy shit. Jocelyn's spreading rumors about another person in the same style she told people rumors about you. And then I think for Sandy, that was like the last fucking straw. She was like, fuck this shit.
No, yeah. I remember the phrase he used. This bitch is crazy.
This bitch is crazy. So Mark tells fucking Sandy, this bitch is crazy. And when everybody I know has at least uttered those words at least once about this crazy person. This bitch is crazy.
And we're just like, oh my God, how... At first I was like, how does...
It's at this point where I'm like, I don't know you, man. I don't know you. If we ever saw each other for a work event or even in public, I'm like, I don't fucking know you, man.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
You're crazy.
I don't want to have anything to do with your scheming bullshit.
Spread all the rumors you want.
Yeah, but I don't want any part of it, man.
I don't care. And I thought this stuff stopped a little bit after we graduated. Like, I think people learned their lesson. Apparently not with some people. And I'm like, how do these people, all of these people, go on for so long? And then I realized, again, because people take advantage of weak and people who just don't know any better. So, for example, spreading rumors to people new in the industry about stuff that happened like
evil. That's evil.
Years ago. Supposedly, let's just say it happened. Stuff that happened years ago. Why? First of all, why would they care? Like, if you're straight out of art school, someone else's bullshit, like, why would they care? And then, but like, why do you care?
This much to continue after all this time.
Yeah, like half a decade or more. Like, Jesus really? Christ. It's been so long. We've all moved on from art school. We've all moved on from, like, and then for like them co-opting new people and young people to like continue spreading these rumors is like really strange and gross and taking advantage of people who literally would not know any better.
Well-meaning people.
Yeah, who are just like, I just got this job.
I don't really care.
I don't care. I that's how I would be. I'd be like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm just here to draw cartoons. That would be exactly my response. But I also think, after living long enough, I think back when I was younger, I didn't believe in karma, actually. I always thought, well, the world is unfair, and I think there are some people who are bad people but are very talented at being, I don't know, charismatic or doing whatever shady thing that they do. And they're always, life is always going to be unfair that way. Like, they're probably never going to get caught. Nothing's ever probably going to happen to them. They're just, I don't know why then I am deciding to not do that, deciding to be a good person when there is absolutely no advantage for me, because clearly there's so much advantage to
being a bad person.
Yeah, because all these people like Gabby and the Creep Show person, they're big channels. Like, they know what people want. So like, if I wanted to get more views, just cause
it would be
more
so
drama.
easy. It'd be so easy.
But I think most people choose not to. But now that I'm older and I've seen everyone get what's coming to them.
Oh, it's been delicious. Oh, watching everybody get their just desserts. Oh, super delicious to watch, man.
But also, like, man, I think karma does exist.
Yeah, man.
I think it's not going to happen immediately. In fact, it's going to take a really long time.
I was the same as you.
Yeah.
I was the same as you. I believe that when things happen, they just happen. And it's not because there's no rational rhyme or reason to it. That just fucking happens. Yeah. But I've been seeing lately that people who do bad shit, may not be today or tomorrow, but eventually they're going to get what's coming to them.
Yeah. And
I'm seeing a lot of motherfuckers get what's coming to them. It's been absolutely delicious to watch. Oh, bless their hearts.
Oh, God. Even if you might not see like any kind of physical, real world repercussions for them, for people who wronged you or are just doing bad things and you're just seeing it in the periphery like we did, I think unless you're truly a psychopath who just feels absolutely nothing, I think at the end of the day it does eat you up inside. Like, I think the only reason why Gabby and Creepshow and in my opinion, I think a lot of these people engaging in this kind of stuff, like even our classmates, I don't think they're doing so well mentally. Mm-hmm. Like, I think all this, when it comes out, whether you think you can take it or not, I think it does weigh on you mentally. And like, all these bad things, like, that's why I think a lot of our peers have to go through therapy.
A lot of our peers had to go through therapy, especially this past year.
Because in order to forgive yourself and all this stuff, and I feel like you not only have to forgive yourself, you have to like go and apologize to other people that you supposedly wronged. And until you do that, I don't think you're gonna be okay in the mind. And if I told that to my younger self, I wouldn't believe me. I'd be like, I don't think these people care. I don't think they have a bone in their body where they care. But I
think you have any kind of remorse.
Yeah. But I think at this point, I think they do. I think when it comes out and it's not fun anymore for them, when everyone knows exactly what kind of people they are, I think it doesn't sit well. I think it doesn't sit well.
Do you have remorse for these people, Janet Chang?
No.
I don't have remorse for these people. Fuck these people.
Taking it, like, to do what they do, they have to know that they have power and how much they, like, relish in hurting other people. And
well, you don't. What, are we supposed to pity you just because you don't have power anymore and you realize you never did? No, fuck you. We knew you never had power to begin with.
But I think it's interesting that these people, as artists, as people who are storytellers, I think all these people are good storytellers. That makes them good liars. I think the best liars actually are really good storytellers. I think they know what kind of power they hold. The same way I know what kind of power I hold. Like, as someone who has the artistic, creative talent, the brain for it, I think we are more powerful than a lot of people even understand. Like, I think we can convince people of things. We can persuade people.
We just talked about propaganda.
Yeah.
And how that sways people.
We can literally make people believe in lies and, like, ruin lives in a lot of
because
ways.
Of it.
Yeah. And I think these people, though, they know the kind of power that they have. They know that, like, oh, I'm actually kind of good at this. And you know who else? You know who else was like that? Hitler. I don't want to, like, be like everyone else and use his name and compare these, like, people to him or whatever so lightly. But, like, come on. Failed artists. Actually,
failed artist, man.
Arguably very good at art because he was very good at convincing a lot of people of a lot of bad things. Very good at propaganda. Just saying. I think he had to have been an artist in order to be that good at propaganda.
What's the ultimate point of this podcast? What are we trying to tell people?
That I don't want to make art for any side. I don't really care to make art for the man. I don't really care to make art for whatever cause you want me to make art for, because I don't know what you actually are using me for. Especially when I've been there, done that, and it feels icky. Hollywood is icky when they're trying to make me make propaganda for little kids. Like, icky. I don't want to do that. I want us to go back to a place in time where people who make art, whether it's art, music, entertainment, whatever, are making art from the individual's perspective. From, this is the art that you want to make because these are the stories you want to tell. These are the things you believe in. Whether they align with either side conveniently, it'll happen every once in a while. But at the end of the day, I want to hear one person's perspective, and I want to hear everyone's perspective in their own way of speaking and making, not because, oh, I want to be part of the collective. I want to be part of a group. I want to be part of this cause, this revolution, this whatever. Like, I don't like that. I want to hear someone's innermost feelings and thoughts and whatever. Like, not this groupthink thing that's going on. What about you?
Yeah, I think if you cater to that stuff, the stories will always be so black and white. Like, oh, I'm trying to be, I don't know. Moral. I'm
trying to say something.
But sometimes life isn't so easy to navigate. Sometimes things are difficult, and I think that's why we have stories, to help understand those difficult moments in life.
Yeah. I think when people are trying to say a group's message or further some ideology or some greater message than yourself, I think you do become really preachy on both sides. I really hate it on both sides.
It's not cool in either side. It's not cool when it's about, oh, you need to, be righteous and God and all this stuff, and it's not cool when it's just like, oh, you will always be persecuted for the rest of your life.
Yeah. and it becomes too easy of a story. Like you said, like very black and white, good versus evil. When like the stories that I like the most are the ones that are very nuanced. Like it feels like the person telling the story is not trying to make you think this is a good guy and this is a bad guy. They're just presenting the story to you and leaving it up to you. Is this person good in your opinion? Is this person bad? There are aspects of good and bad in everyone, and that's what makes a really dimensional story, a really dimensional character, a really realistic depiction of real life, because in real life we don't have good versus evil in such clear-cut terms.
And life is a mess most of the time.
So, in this episode, I want to recommend this movie I watched recently called High and Low by Kurosawa.
Is it our favorite Kurosawa movie?
Yes.
Oh, it's such a good Kurosawa movie.
I hope that's not blasphemous to say.
I don't think it is.
Because most people are like Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, the samurai movies. But I was really shocked. This is my favorite, I think. I really, really, really like this movie. If you are a storyboard artist, you can learn a lot about the shot compositions.
Oh, beautiful shots.
Very, very beautiful. It has a fantastic cat and mouse mystery story.
Reminiscent of Death Note a little bit.
Yeah. I actually think Death Note took a lot.
I saw a lot
from
of Death
this
Note.
movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's no black and white. There's no like moral to the story that like it makes you think. And surprisingly, it reminded me of 12 Angry Men, that movie, because of how it's mostly focused on the drama in a face and acting and that kind of thing. I mean, I guess it has I don't know, it feels like you can make this kind of movie on a fairly low budget.
I think so.
Because it's mostly, it's about human drama. And yeah, if you want to watch a really, really, really my favorite Kurosawa movie, it's in black and white, but it's good. It's really, really good. If you like this episode, make sure to jingle all our bells and buttons for more episodes. Check out these videos over here to binge all our episodes. Head over to honeynaps.com to help support this channel, keep the cameras rolling by buying some merch. And we will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.